Welcome, Brian Keeler here. Welcome to my studio in Ithaca, New York. And during the month of April here, we've been featuring a show called Stirrings of Spring. And this first one that you're looking at here is a spring scene of Philadelphia along the Schuylkill River with some scholars here and showing my nod or my homage to Thomas Eakins here. And it's did this a couple years ago, but it's a spring scene before the foliage actually comes on. If you pan to your right here, this painting that you're looking at here now is a plein air painting that I did overlooking Cayuga Lake at Aurora, New York. And I did right there on location, but of course finished it up here in the studio like I often do. It's looking on Cayuga Lake, looking over towards Sheldrake from Aurora, New York. And as you pan around here, if you look over this way, please. And we have several others, a combination of plein air and studio paintings, the horizontal ones at the top. This is near my hometown in Pennsylvania, Wyalusing, and it's along the Susquehanna River in an area called Quick's Bend. And this is also a plein air painting that I did right from the tailgate of my truck one spring day. And to the left of that is another plein air painting. They're started plein air but finished up in my studio. This one is of Snyder Hill Road right here in Ithaca, New York, right corner of Bessemer Hill and Snyder Hill Road of a house across the street. And the one below it is another plein air painting, also from Quick's Bend, Pennsylvania, which is along the Susquehanna River in Bradford County, Pennsylvania. If you come over to this one, it's another Susquehanna scene of the river. It's about halfway down the state of Pennsylvania on the east side. It's a beautiful road. If you've never traveled the east side of the Susquehanna, it's a wonderful drive. What makes it nice is that it's sort of unruined. On the other side of the road, there's a big interstate, an aggressive interstate that makes traveling easy. But this side of the river looks pretty much like it did in the 19th century. Towns like Herndon and I think Millersville is on this side of the river also. So that's what this depicts, a spring day along the Susquehanna River. And if you follow me back over here, we have some other ones of spring. These two are also Pennsylvania scenes. This top one is Omit's Ferry, which is just outside of Wyalusing, done right there from my truck. It shows the Howard Farm in the area called Omi's Ferry or Omit's Ferry. And below it is another plein air scene, kind of between Towanda and Wyalusing. And this one on the floor that you're looking at here now, turn it up so you can see the painting there, is of Italy. It's a town where I teach my workshops in Italy of Barga is the name of the town, and we have these protective corners on them now because just to protect the paintings and the frames. Okay, if you come up here now and look at this large painting here, it's also a spring scene in Bradford County at New Albany, and it's a place that I've spent a lot of summers. There's a swimming pool right across the street here where as kids we would always go to. It was the only swimming pool in the whole area. But it started as a winter painting, oddly enough, but I decided to take out, there was a little bit of snow, but I decided to accentuate the spring aspects of it and use a lot of kind of vibrant and expressive color, these lavenders and mauves in here mixed with the complement of these kind of high chroma greens. And another spring scene of Pennsylvania, Wyalusing, Taylor Avenue in Wyalusing. It's a location that I've done several times. I have one looking the other direction and from different angles of this same intersection. And over here is a view of the Susquehanna of Question Mark Island, it's called. It's the Susquehanna just outside of Wyalusing. And this was a plein air painting I did on Valentine's Day of this year. It was a warm day, that February 14th. And up here, if you scan up here, this one first is view of Ithaca along 6 Mile Creek. It's the forsythia blooming in Ithaca. And another one here of Italy. This one was done at sunrise along the Tiber River in Rome. It's also a plein air painting that I got up before sunrise, walked down there along the promenade. This is Castle Sant'Angelo, also called Hadrian's Mausoleum. And so I'm looking east and at sunrise along the Tiber River in Rome. And now this one here is one of the gorges in Ithaca. It's Cascadilla Gorge. I think it's from a bridge going over Stewart Avenue in the spring before the foliage came in. And my main interest in this was the quality of light, the late afternoon light with the striking shadows and play of light, and this bridge down below with the couple on it. Okay, coming over here, if you'd follow me over here to this one, is a townscape of Moravia, New York, which is not far from Ithaca, I don't know, maybe 25 miles northeast of Ithaca. And I love to do these historic buildings, and of course the forsythia and the play of light is one of my main interests here. And another one here, a spring scene from Sheldrake, New York. It's of looking towards Cayuga Lake, and it was done on the spring solstice a couple years ago, so I sat right there and did it. The challenge with these, of course, is capturing the light, and then the light's so fleeting and fugitive, it just stays in these patterns for a short amount of time. And to the right of that one is this pastel. It's a large pastel with my observations here. I was thinking of these pastels as sort of large sketches, and when I do sketches I make notes on them, and so I decided to sort of combine the spring depiction here, and it's also in a place called Spring Hill, which is just outside of Wyalusing. And then this one on my easel is not exactly a spring one, but you might like to see, because it's in its beginning stages. It's going to be a view of Cayuga Lake and actually Seneca and Keuka. It's going to be a mythological one with Icarus flying here and Daedalus kind of flying up Cayuga Lake. So it's in the very beginning stages, but it's going to be a fun one to do with this aerial perspective here. And another early spring one here on the floor here. I've done a full-length video on this one. I'm painting clouds, but it's early spring in Sugar Run, Pennsylvania, and it shows a barn there belonged to the McCarty family, and then most recently David and Melody Buck. And this one that you're looking at is also a pastel of, it's called God's Hill, sometimes known as Carrick's Hill, between Towanda and Wyalusing, close to Durrell. All right, if you turn over here, this is also a spring scene of the Tiber River in Rome, and it was done on the first day of our trip a few years ago, and I painted this scene many times. It's the Ponte Fabricio, and it's a bridge that's been there since 63 BC, if you can fathom that, and it's still in use as a pedestrian bridge. But one of the appeals of it was that Corot painted it in the early 19th century, around 1820. So I made it sort of a mission of mine to do my own versions of the same scenes that Jean-Baptiste Camille Corot, the French painter, did. And this large painting that you're looking at here now is a view of two houses in Wyalusing. It's the one on the left was my grandmother's house when I was growing up, and of course the light and the forsythia of blooming in spring is the main interest here. And these are two spring scenes. One on the top is near Hollenbach, Pennsylvania. It's a plein air painting, and done from my bike. I think I have a way of packing up my bike and going out to a location, just setting up and doing it. It's the Fenton Farm, just outside of Hollenbach. And below that, here we have in Ithaca, scene on Buffalo Street. It's a famous house in town. It was lived in by a famous mystic, Madame Blavatsky, in the late 19th century, I believe. So it's has that mystical aspect to it, and famous person. So I think that's probably about it. Thanks so much for your attention and viewing this exhibit of spring. Look for our website, and you can see all the paintings with their sizes, dimensions, and prices, and you can actually purchase them on the website, northstarartgallery.com. Great, thanks so much.